know, I didn't know of Miss Nancy Smith until COVID came, and we were on the Black Boston COVID Coalition together. We became very good friends, right?
Yes.
Through Zoom. So it's wonderful having you. And Kyron, I forgot when I met you,
I
but
met you when you ran for office. I was working for the election department at the time as their
oh,
civic engagement coordinator. And so we interacted on a few occasions, and then ever since it's always been in community. So it's a wonderful opportunity to be on this show finally.
oh, thank you. It's wonderful to have you all here, and with you, what you all are doing, what you all are working on is phenomenal. So I want you to Nancy, introduce yourself. Tell a little bit about what you do. How long you been with the city?
So I've been with the city for 3 years, but prior to that, so sorry, I was with the Boston Public Health Commission for 20 years.
Okay. And are they not the same?
Well, no, they're not.
Okay, so the city doesn't oversee the.
Yes, they do, but it's quasi, and so there's different things that happen at the public health arena that doesn't happen at the city,
Okay.
And vice versa.
and vice versa.
Okay. And you worked with my good friend Courtney Gray for years, right?
I did work with
Yeah.
Courtney for many years in different bureaus. Like I say, one of the nice things about working at the commission, it was my first nonprofit job. So I
Oh,
came
okay.
from profit making and
Oh, I didn't know
background.
that was a nonprofit.
Well, the thing is like they because of the way it was structured, I was able to work in 3 different bureaus and 5 different departments.
Wow.
Yeah. I
Wow.
used to put myself up for adoption.
I actually met Nancy while she was working for the Office of Preparedness at the Health Commission.
Okay.
We would often partner together because she had a program that she founded called Get Ready, Be Safe,
Be Safe, Stay
Be
Healthy.
Stay Healthy.
Okay.
And so it really merged very well with what we were doing over at Emergency Management. We're trying to make sure that people were taking steps to be prepared in the city. And so we were happy that we were able to snag her over.
Yeah. That's wonderful. And so, tell us a little bit about your background, Kyron.
Yeah, so I graduated from Suffolk University, political science background, was on the Board of Election Commissioners. I was appointed in 2014 and stayed within the the Boston Election Commission up until 2019 when I transferred over to the Office of Emergency Management as their communications director, and I've been here ever since.
Okay. That sounds good. That sounds wonderful. So, you're here to talk about CERT.
Right. But I think we also are going to talk about Alert Boston as well.
Okay.
But we'll talk about that later. Let's
Okay,
get
all
into
right.
this community
Okay.
emergency response
All
team.
right. Okay.
Okay.
Cool. All right. The Community Emergency Response Program was actually started in California by a fire chief back in 1986, 86, 85. So it's a national program that literally has over 3,000 chapters and over 600,000 members. Okay. And it also has an international branch as well. So fast forward, we're going to talk about the East Coast. So the city of Boston actually had a CERT team under Mayor Menino. And then for some reason, I think it was a funding stream of cycles. So the program didn't get a chance to continue. And so when Mayor Walsh came into office, our current Chief Benford,
Yep.
decided to bring back CERT. And I was very blessed that he came over and got me from the commission to help build this program. And people say, well, it's just now happening. It took us 2 years to build the infrastructure up.
I can imagine.
Yes.
Yeah. People think things supposed to happen overnight. But
Yes.
Sometimes it doesn't, especially when it's the city.
Did you work for the city?
Yes,
For
yes,
how many
yes.
years?
Oh, close to 20. I worked in the Elderly Commission, which is now Age Strong, and then I ran the payroll for the entire city for close to 20
That's
years.
amazing. Thank you
Yeah.
for your service.
Yes.
Yeah, I had to
Salute.
retire. I had to retire, and then I took on this advocacy stuff, and I've been at it ever since. So I like what I do.
No,
That's
for sure,
wonderful.
for sure. And one good thing about the CERT program is that it will help the city to build capacity to be able to respond to different emergency events and be able to mitigate some of the impacts of an emergency that could impact the city. So it's really important that folks get involved.
So tell us a little bit about it and
Okay.
how it works and how do people get involved?
Okay.
Because I think it's very important.
Okay, so one of the unique things that we decided to look at when we were building out the CERT program, there's many different ways that you can get involved with CERT. And what I mean that is the way the training is set up. But one of the issues that we decided to look at was through the lens of diversity, equity, and inclusion and belonging. And one of the reasons why is because, and this is no shame to anyone, and I take this and say this with my heart because of the positions that I have even on a national level. Most of the CERT teams that we were seeing, they're mostly white, older folks, right? And one of the things that we had to look at on a national level was, why is that? Well, one of the things that happened is that most of the trainings are on Saturdays and Sundays. And they would be like 8-hour trainings, like 8 hours on a Saturday,
Wow.
8 hours on a Sunday.
Yeah, yeah.
And, you know, for us, it was not working well. So we looked at different programs that came out, and there was a group in Utah that created this amazing platform that will allow anyone to actually learn about CERT, 12 hours free. All right. And so we did a focus group back in 2021 with the community, just trying to find out what was their feel of, like, what should we look like doing classes in the evening, because there's two components to this. And first of all, they were like, Saturday, no. But they were willing to give us training hours with them in the evenings, right? Which was huge for us because that let us know that people were interested in emergency preparedness and wanting to know more and strengthening up their communities. And like I said, sometimes the wave is happening at the right time. The pandemic happened. And so people started looking at how I could be self-sufficient better, right? How can I do this in my community better? And so with those things, a lot of the in-person trainings that you get have those components to it. We do have another program that sits with it, which is Until Help Arrive, which I'll talk about that a little later because we've had some incredible response in Roxbury. We had 91 people to take that class, and that's a whole nother story in itself. And
You said Until Help Arrives, huh?
Until Help Arrives. Yeah, you know that, right?
Yeah.
And we want you to look at bigger pictures in the sense of, like, so with the active shooter, I'm just going to bring this home real quick, right? Active shooter, a lot of people like, hey, every place is a soft target now, right? You go to the grocery store, you can be walking there, it's your soft target. So what can we do as a city to help you no longer feel like being a victim? You might be the survivor, right? So some of the training that we're teaching you is some of the most basic stuff that like Chief Hooley and Deputy Felicia Robinson has been doing for years underneath EMS, which is CPR class, right? And then now we've added Stop the Bleed, which is a huge component that they do in the areas of like Chicago and all these things, because when you run up on somebody, they may have a injury and you don't know what to do. All right. And then the other thing that we added into the component of the emergency response on hands-on is also Narcan training. All right. So there's all these other components, but the program itself sits with a 12-hour online module. Now, what does that mean? That means that you sign up, you go onto our website, you sign up to get your linkage to take the 12 hours module. You can take it at any time you want. And the chief...
Do you have to take it all at the same time?
Some people will be taking it all at the same time because they want to get ready.
Because 12 hours is longer than 8.
Well, I'll tell you the reason why. Some people probably might be rushing and do 12 hours because the 16 hours in person is coming in April. So it's from April to June. So we've given people, I'll back up a little. We had what we call a soft launch. and we had a 3-year strategy. And then we were in December told that we had to take the 3-year strategy and move it into 1 year. Right? So what does that mean?
Acceleration.
So
And so for some individuals, they've been taking the classes since September when we first did the soft launch. They've been, going in, doing their units online. And you can do this anytime you want. Like, so, if it's at 3 o'clock in the morning, you want to take unit 4, you can just take unit 4, because it's keeping track of you, right?
Okay,
And it's
okay.
going to create electronic certificate. So then in April, you take a look at all of the wonderful classes that we offer now for people to come in person. All right. And that's where I want to talk about the part where now we have a real relationship, right? So the city now is saying, okay, we're bringing you in to train you with some of the top people in this public safety. You have trainers that are from EMS. You have Boston Fire. You have also community Epicare. We have all of these trainers that
what
are
about
now
police? Do you have police?
police. We're putting them in on some of the Stop the Bleeds. We're still working out because when you see this class thing, you'll understand why it's pretty big, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, as a matter of fact, I'm still setting up different trainers for different modules. One of the modules that we're doing, I want to share a story that happened this past summer. We had an opportunity to work with the Arts of Mass Gathering. And this is an organization that chose us, and they actually go around the United States and look at festivals for soft targets. And we got involved with them, and being involved with them meant like we was working with the Disability Commission. And so what they do is they come and they look at these sites and they say, are they really access and functional need accessible? Well, just think
Most
about
of them not.
Thank you. All right.
Yeah.
So they do a report, and it's legitimate. And it's not to throw shame on anybody. It's like to have roses and thorns. Like, how can we do better? And so we were very fortunate to have a 40 by 40 tent at BAM Fest.
Yeah.
Okay.
Across from the beer garden that people could drop in, and they got to take CPR class. They got to take Stop the Bleed and Narcan.
Wow. Okay.
So, and what was really exciting about that was that it's the first time it's ever been done. And you and I know, like, when you go to like an event, people who are going to festivals, they're going to have some fun.
Yeah.
They,
Yeah.
they want to have some fun, right?
Right.
So how can we give them some tools? How can we give them some tools while they're there in case something does happen, right? So that allowed us to have a stronger relationship with one of the persons that's at the Disability Commission. And she actually said this to me when we were sitting there. She says, Nancy, what could I do if I was a CERT member and she's in a wheelchair? And I said, girl, I got ideas for you. You already got your chair. Me and my, I like to have a good, laughter with everything. I said, I will pull you right up and you could do assessments. You could do and she was like, oh, that's so great. So then when this came around, I ran into her again and she said, are you going to be doing a class for us? And I said, who's us? She said, she meant like in the wheelchair people that have access and functional needs.
Persons with disabilities.
Yes.
And it created this thing where Chiron can tell you, I was like, oh, this is a big lift because I had not envisioned, I knew that we were going to have people that would ask for accommodations, but creating a class specifically that would have all the components that you would need to have someone, whether in a wheelchair, whether they're blind, whether they're deaf. And so we were very fortunate to have a woman who is down in New Jersey who has been doing this for 11 years, and she has a team of deaf CERT members,
Wow.
45.
Wow.
So,
And a lot of our information is translated as well to make it accessible from that lens as well.
Wow.
and so
Okay.
we've already gotten the participant guide already translated in Braille. And now we're meeting every week to try to find the roses and thorns of that class so that we will have, I can tell you this, you know, Wilbur Brown.
Yes, yes, yes.
Wilbur Brown and I hope he doesn't mind me saying his name. Wilbur, said your name. I'm sorry, I forgot. I'm calling names out. This is a good thing.
Now.
Yeah, this is a good thing. This is a good thing. Wilbur and this other individual, now I'm gonna be careful, at the commission will be that we think the first two individuals to get trained as CERT trainers that are in wheelchairs.
Mm-hmm. Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Why nobody don't know about this?
Well, that's why we're on this show, to let them know. And we're making our way through the community to ensure that folks are aware of this opportunity, as we'll be having 3 offerings in person that I'm sure Nancy's going to go over in a little bit.
Yeah.
But essentially, the registration to sign up for one of these 3 courses would be March 15th. And so you can go to boston.gov/cert to be able to figure out which course actually works with you. So we have a Saturday offering, we have an evenings offering, and then we have our access and functional needs offering for those persons with disabilities.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
That was our 3-year strategy. It was to roll out, and then the chief said, "No, we gotta."
But that's wonderful. I mean, the work that you all are doing. How many's on your team? Don't say just you two.
No, so for the Office of Emergency Management, we have about 26 people, which I think is probably, we're boasting the largest number that we've had under Chief Shumaine Benford since he took over. And just a fun fact, because I know it's Black History Month, he is the first Black chief of that office. And so we always like to big him up, as he's been definitely reviving the office since he came in 2018.
That's good. That's so good. I'm so glad to be able to get this information out to our community. You know, that's what People Power with Priscilla is all about, is getting the information out to our community so that we can do better. Because they say if you know better, you do better. Yeah. So knowledge is power. You know, and so I'm just happy that I ran into you guys at the Black History event at City Hall, because I didn't know y'all were doing this. And so
no, for sure.
Yeah.
And we love to come out to events and offer as a tabling resource where you can definitely learn more about emergency preparedness, learn more about the Office of Emergency, as well as the CERT program. We have our mass emergency notification system called Alert Boston that people can sign up for at boston.gov/emergency, which will inform you about any major emergency that's impacting the city, what resources are available, and what steps you can take to protect you and your loved ones. So, and those emergency messages come out by phone call, email, and text message, and they're fully translated.
Okay, Mr. Communications. Go ahead.
And I do want to say something really nice about the training that we have, which is Train the Trainers. So with these 3 classes that we're offering, we actually have a 4th class, but it's a completely private class that's being done for the cadets, the fire cadets. So no one can sign up for that one. But these 3 classes, we actually have 2 community members who are all actually learning this program so that they can become trainers. Okay. Because it's it's teach one, each one, teach one, right?
Yes.
And what was wonderful was that I don't know when my funding is going to happen again. So I got funding right now. You know how that is.
Yeah.
So look, what's this thing? Hit it to where it's hot. Funding is hot right now. So I don't know when it's gonna come back. So I have to. We're trying our best to get as many training members in from the community so that they can take this forward when the funding isn't there.
And one thing that I'll add about the CERT program and the difference between CERT and Until Help Arrives, which Nancy mentioned earlier, the CERT program really takes you through that 28-hour training, and then you'd have to do a background check, but that would certify you to be a certified volunteer with the city during times of an emergency. And so we had to go out and get some insurance.
That was the big thing.
And everything like that, and work through some things. Whereas Until Help Arrives, we call that like our catch-all, right? Because that one is the one, it's a 4-hour in-person and virtual course where you can come in and learn a lot of the same emergency skill-based, methods and then, you know, basically you're not signed up or you're not becoming a volunteer, but you just have that common knowledge that you can have for you and your family and your community. Because, you know, in times of an emergency, I'm sorry to say, but you're probably going to be the first responder, not the first responder. It's going to take them some time to get there.
Right.
And so anything you can do to mitigate that situation definitely helps make it better for those being impacted.
So basically, this program is basically for our community to get more involved in emergency things that happen in the community.
Right.
Okay.
And what's really nice is that Until Help Arrive actually sits inside of the CERT program in Unit 8. Someone was very, very smart to realize that there was need to have a just-in-time training. And so that component sits there as a way for people to get trained up much quicker than a 28, and also not having to have their quarry pulled. The nice thing is that for those 91 people who took the Until Help Arrive, and brag a little bit about the Roxbury class, we put the notice out for the class. It's 2 hours virtual and then 2 hours in person. And fancy me, I did that regular, registration, but you know how our people are, right? They just get the Zoom number and they came in. So we're sitting there and we're seeing people coming in, and I'm like, wait, I only have like 40 people registered. And the number just kept getting higher and higher. And I said, I think my Zoom only has 100 on this one, which we've now changed that. Now we have a new Zoom. But it was just interesting to see how the community sends their own drum beat out, right? They were like, registration. Oh no, somebody don't pass that Zoom number out. And it was just like,
We on it.
Yeah. Zoom does have its it's wonderful times. Yeah, I mean, it's great. We do Zoom here on Friday night prayer from 7 to 8, and so
That's
it's
amazing.
Zoom is what's going on. It's happening.
For sure.
You
I think it makes everything a lot more accessible. I know some people have their downs about it, but I definitely enjoy it. I mean, I know that when me and Nancy go to different community meetings, sometimes we're able to pop into 2 or 3 and kind of get the message out just because of that Zoom platform. Whereas, if it was in person strictly, it
Yeah.
would be very challenging to get from one end of the city to the next. To
Who
share
you
that
telling?
information.
I know. Sometimes you're on one Zoom on your phone, another Zoom on your computer, and then you may be sitting in a meeting.
I've done that sometimes
Yes,
on
that's-
Sunday for different church services I wanted to go to.
Yeah. We've been talking about that too. Church services coming back into the church, because with COVID, everybody just got their online thing going, and nobody wants to, come back together. So, yeah, that's a challenge, but we working it out. We working it out.
For sure.
Yeah. So, now tell me, so with the classes, right? So you said, so tell us when the classes are.
So,
And
all right.
if they want to sign up, how would they be able to sign up?
Okay, so the best way is to actually go to our website on the City of Boston website, boston.gov/cert. Okay,
Correct.
And when you get to the site, you're going to see some offerings for the in-person, right? And those classes, are going all the way. We have some that are Tuesday morning from 10 to 12. That's our access and functional needs. And then we have a class that evening that is, we call it our evening class, and that's from 6 to 8:30. And then we have the Saturday class, which is going to be a monthly class. So it's going to go April, then May, then June. And that class is from 9 to 1:30. Okay, it's a big commitment. But like I said, we found that people are interested, and we really wanted to give people a real banquet of different opportunities to do the in-person, right? Because see, the class that you're doing online, you can do that at any time, and say, for instance, if you did the online class and you missed the cycle for this 2024, we're hoping to have our cycle up by the fall, because we have to take all of this data that we're getting for now to be able to present it so that we can say that we need to do 2 CERT classes for the year instead of 1. But I would prefer for people to come to this cycle because this is the inaugural class and it's big, and you're setting the foundations.
And the start date is April 9th, will be like the first registration day or set up for the accommodations for the AFN course.
So
offering.
on your website, do you have some like FAQs, like frequently, so that people, if they just like want to go to the website and just see what it's about, you know, see if they're interested, if they do. And this is strictly volunteer, correct?
Yeah. So when you go to the website, and I know you guys can't see this, but I'm just showing this to Ms. Priscilla. So it will take you to this link. This is the first link for just the online classes. It gives you instructions exactly how to do that. And then every month I do a check-in. So I send out a Zoom link and I just have people, hey, you want to check in if you're having problems with this? And most of the folks that have gotten on there, I have to tell you, so funny. They get on and they're like, "We're ready. When's the in person?" And what I'm seeing is that this gives us another opportunity to introduce people to the other part of FEMA. There are courses that you can take on FEMA online, totally free. And I'm not saying that this is part of a workforce, but I have personally actually seen someone who started taking FEMA classes, got their certifications, and now they have a job in emergency management. So, and these classes are free, you know, and I think for some people, just seeing how your money is working in the community, having free education, you can get certified to become a planner.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
And so, and I know you asked about the FAQ on the webpage. We do have a lot of information around CERT. We have a video that was done by our very own Deputy Felicia Robinson from EMS to help us encourage people to start. But I think we're still building that FAQ as we engage with the community and kind of see what are the reoccurring questions that we're getting that we can definitely, you know, kind of have up there and make sure that people can get, you know, very easily.
So do you all have like a like one day a month or something where you just invite people who are curious, you know, just want to learn, or is it all you people get registered and then they come to the training and that's where they learn? So do you have like maybe an information session or something?
We have not done.
We don't have an information session. What Nancy has done is she hosts, I want to say, almost weekly check-in meetings with people who have gone on the webpage and said that they're interested in this program. So initially, prior to having the in-person options available, we were registering people to take the online courses. And so as people would sign up to take the online portion, Nancy would be engaging with them and making sure that they felt the support and had somebody that they could call directly whenever they had questions, if they came up against challenges or anything like that, and then we would work through that.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
That
So
helps.
I think, like
But
I
it
said,
would be good to do an information session.
Yeah, just so people, you know, would know. Like it could be something like this, you know, couple, you know, a few of your staff and something, and that could be virtual too. Really, you know, that doesn't have to be in person. You
No,
know,
for sure.
just like give people more information, because we want to learn things. We want to be able to help ourselves and help our community. So to me, getting this certification and being able to, it will not only help you and your family in case of emergency, but it will also maybe help you get a job. You know, help you,
Yeah.
you
For
know,
sure.
and get you into another career path. Because one thing I did know. One thing about COVID is that a lot of people started their businesses during COVID, you know, a lot. And so we need to keep that same type of energy going, you know, where we can start our own businesses and get this free training. I you know, free is free, but me, myself personally, I'm tired of working for free. But I feel like this is something that is another way of getting to our community learning something that's going to help and benefit us. You know, so I think this is a wonderful program. I really appreciate you all coming on, taking the time and letting our audience know. And so tell us about, I want to hear about the
courses, the names of the courses.
The courses,
Okay,
yes,
all right.
that.
All right, so Unit 1 is disaster preparedness. Unit 2 is CERT organization. Unit 3 and 4 is disaster medical operations. Unit 5 is disaster psychology. I might need to hire you to do some training on that section. You know, I think you'd be good at that.
I don't know. I may need some training myself.
Unit 6 is fire safety and utility controls. Unit 7 is light search and rescue operations. And Unit 8 kind of bounces around with terrorism and cybersecurity. As it has evolved, you'll see on this flyer, it says hazardous materials, but it's evolved into another area. We've seen that happen just even between the time that these flyers were put together. So, and then the last one is our course review and disaster simulation. And we get a chance to actually put people in a simulation. It's virtual.
A few months ago, I did a, what do you call it, reenactment up at UMass with Courtney.
Yes.
Active shooter
Active
thing.
shooter, yep.
It was kind of like scary, you know, a little bit, but I mean, I got through it. But it's just amazing, you know, like if something like that happens, you know, how do you prepare yourself? You know, how do you, especially like if you're on the end where you're trying to comfort someone that's concerned about their loved one that's in, like if it's a school or wherever it's at, you know, and they want to get to them and you're trying to contain them to let them know you can't, you have to, you know, stay here and stuff like that. So it was really, you know, very interesting. And that was the first time I had been involved in, you know, anything like that. So, but it's amazing, you know, what you can do and what you can find yourself able to do, you know, because you never know when you're gonna find yourself, and like you said soft targets. Is that what you call them?
Yeah.
Everything. There's nowhere you can go and really be safe. You know, and it's I mean, like when you go to through the city, you know, you have security. You go through the state, you have security. And one thing that I noticed that the nation does is that they search people before they get in there, you know. And I don't think that's such a bad idea, especially when people will come into, you know, churches, grocery stores, movies. There's no sacred place. There's no sacred place.
Yeah, even with our job that we do on a regular basis, we've seen.
Isn't this your job you do on a
regular basis? But I mean, like I'm talking about, like my everyday is like trying to grow cert, you know. But on the bigger picture of like what you just talked about, I'm referring to grants that we see that FEMA puts out are based on, you know, they have these nonprofit security grants, and they're basically for faith-based to help.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And so and those are coming up soon.
Yeah.
And this is through FEMA?
Yeah, it's through FEMA. And then I would also say, like, when I'm out in the community, I'm often preaching about the 3 pillars of preparedness, which you always want to try to do during blue sky, sunny days. When there's no emergency in sight, that's the best time to prepare. And so the 3 pillars of emergency preparedness are: you want to first have an emergency plan, right? You want to also build your kit or your go bag. And the kit is more so like if you had the shelter in place, right? And a go bag is if you had to actually leave your home or wherever you're at. So you can have a go bag in your car, you can have a go bag at work, you can have a go bag at home, right? Because those are probably the 3, you know, main places where you'll be, where an emergency could probably take place, and you would have some supplies to be able to mitigate that. And the plan is essential because that's really what helps you and your family or your loved ones know, okay, if this scenario happens, this is how we're going to go about trying to address it, right? And so now everybody's on the same page. So let's say something happens at the school, right? If you and your child have had that conversation before, they're going to know, okay, mom or dad's going to be here. If I need to call somebody, these are the emergency
Numbers.
contacts, so forth and so on. So that way, I think it helps to bring down a little bit of the stress levels. I mean, you're still gonna feel some stress because it's a you know, tense situation, but it does help you be able to act more efficiently through that by knowing, hey, we have a plan. We've practiced this plan, right? We go over the plan every now and again to make sure, you know, it's still it still
Relevant.
makes sense and is relevant. And we're checking our emergency kit items to make sure that they're still in good working order. And then, once again, I can't stress enough, be signed up for Alert Boston. Be informed about the emergencies that could impact this area. And you can
So
do that
Alert
at-
Boston is like boston.gov/alert, and you sign up to get like
emergency alerts about any major emergency that's impacting the city of Boston, regardless
Wow.
of scope or scale. And so,
Who knew that?
yeah, just go to
Who knew
boston.gov/alerts, or if you go to boston.gov/emergency, which is our homepage, you'll be able to not only sign up for Alert Boston, but learn about how to make a plan, learn about how to make a kit.
Yeah, that's
and
what
learn
was gonna be
about
my
some of the
next
different
question.
Emergencies.
Yeah.
So, and like I said, we're more than happy to always come out and engage with the community. So if you have a meeting, if you have a association, if you have an event coming up where we can table, please reach out to us at oem@boston.gov, and we'll be more than happy to participate.
Well, I got y'all selling them. I'm just gonna call you.
yeah, most definitely. Most
And
definitely.
I want to piggyback on something that that early on when I started working with Deputy Robinson, and I will never forget when Chief Hooley was standing there and he pointed over to our team. He says, "This team is going to be one of the days is blue sky, wonderful day, because we're here teaching all these things." He said, "This team over here," it was the ambulance. He said, "may not be the best day." He said, "but we're all the same, and we're a family." And it really made me understand, the whole thing about emergency management. You have preparedness, you have preparation, you have prevention, you have mitigation, you have response, you have recovery. It's all there together. And so we're all a family, and like our office is that family. And we have our team members that are on the planning side of the house. We have our operations,
Yeah, we'll dive in, if you don't mind. We'll dive in a little bit about the office. I don't think
Yeah,
we've talked a lot about it, and I know
No,
it's
go
one
ahead.
that maybe most people aren't aware of. So
That's why we're here.
yeah,
So
most
they'll
definitely.
know.
So, the Office of Emergency Management, we house all of the emergency plans on behalf of the city, maintain them, and make sure that they're kept up to date. And so we actually accept what's called the Urban Area Security Initiative Grant from the Department of Homeland Security on behalf of what's called the Metro Boston Homeland Security Region. And Boston is the fiduciary, which means we control the money, right? And so there's about 8 other cities and towns that are in the Metro Boston Homeland Security Region that are surround Boston. So you have like Quincy, Somerville, Cambridge, Revere, Winthrop. I might have missed one or two, but you get the point. Somerville. And so when you think about it, that helps us be able to go for those federal dollars.
Yeah, because that sounds like Congresswoman Ayanna Presley's district.
Yeah,
It
I
is.
think there is
We
some-
want her to come visit our EOC.
no, for sure.
Yeah, we've been trying to get her to come over and visit.
And so, it really helps us. And when you think about it, there's some parts of Boston where if there was an emergency there, it would be impacting Quincy. It would be impacting Somerville and some of those other, towns and jurisdictions. And so we go for that money, and that money will fund different goal areas for each of those jurisdictions, whether it's for a medical response, whether it's, public information and preparedness, cybersecurity, chemical, biological, radiological, nuclear response.
This is just like
For sure.
ooh, it's heavy. But you know what? It's we have to be ready. For real. We do have to be ready for this. So this is like, this is some real serious stuff that we're talking about here, and I would hope that people would really take heed to it and reach out to you guys. Boston.gov/alert or boston.gov/emergency.
Yeah.
And get involved, because that's, we don't never know what's going to happen. We don't never know when communications are going to stop. That's why it's such a blessing to have this radio station here.
For sure.
This is the only black-owned FCC licensed church-based radio station in Boston. And
That's
so
powerful.
this is where everything should be coming from. Communications, because that's what
No,
they
for
try to
sure.
take down first in war.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah,
Absolutely.
they
And
cut
so
comms.
we actually we're having our fundraiser on March 17th.
Okay.
And so we've been talking about it, and we got to grow this station, because it's here for our community,
Oh, for sure.
And so we'll be reaching out to Sir
Yeah, we appreciate you. And one last thing about the office is we do have an operational side of the house, right? Where what we'll do is we'll help the lead agency respond. So one way that you might see OEM being involved from the operational side is, let's take a fire, right? So you have a 9-alarm fire. It's consuming the neighborhood block. The fire department, they're fighting the fire. They're trying to get this under control. But let's say there's some cars that they need moved, right? We've had O&S knocking on doors trying to get people to see whose car this is. We can't find the owners. OEM can now say, hey, Boston Transportation Department, we need some tow trucks. Hey, MBTA, can you send a bus down to be able to help triage some of these victims or people impacted by this?
Right.
Helping to stand up a shelter and things like that. So we really help with coordination and bringing in different resources to make sure that the fire department doesn't have to worry about that.
Exactly.
They can worry about their end of it, which is fighting that fire.
Yes. That's so great. You know, that's really good. I'm glad that all these places are in, because almost every day there's a fire somewhere. Unfortunately, you know, and you see, you know, you feel for those families and things, you know, and it's like, they, you know, thank God for the American Red Cross and agencies and things like that, but there just seems to be a lot of tragedy, you know, and you know, and so we as community, we do have to get back to, yes, we are our brother and sisters keepers, you know. We was actually down at the State House Tuesday with the Poor People's Campaign, you know, serving notice that, you know, I think Savina said there's 130 million voters in United States, and for the next 40 days there's going to be action in 31 states, literally registering people to vote, because it's like we gonna take you out, you know. We gonna, I mean, literally, it was it's been a minute since I've been down to the State House lobby and all that other good stuff, but I'm like, oh yeah, I remember this. So so we, you know, we literally met with the is the Speaker of the House, Nancy Spickler? Is it I don't know. It's Senate President. I think she's the Senate President. But anyway, she wasn't there. But there was a group of us, and we did, you know, there was a press conference, and we said March 2nd we're coming back, you know, because we have to instill in our community, in our people, that we have to vote. That is the way. That is the answer. It's not the only answer, but it's one way to get folks out that we don't want in anymore. You know, it's one way to get people out that are not doing what we asked them to do. It's one way of getting people out when they say they're going to do one thing and they do something else. Okay, bye. You know, you don't get no second and third chances, because we know how politricians act, you know. And so, I got that from Michael T. Thomas. That's what he calls them. Politricians. And they play tricks, you know. And so I feel like they go in, you know, with good intentions, you know, but then they get caught up and corrupt. And so what happens is that we lose out. You know, I feel like, especially black people, I'm sorry, I was born and raised in Boston, and I have seen so much go on in this city, in this state, and this country. And it's really time for us as black people. And I don't care where you come from. If you black, you black. You know, I don't care if you're from Haiti, Trinidad, Jamaica, Brazil, all those other places, right? It doesn't matter. You're still black, and I still feel like we're suffering, you know. And so our thing is, let's get the message out. Let's continue to build community. Let's continue to learn about what we can do to help, because my brother always says, if everybody do a little, nobody has to do a lot. And that's true. Everybody, you know, if you got 10 people at the table and them 10 people can bring 5 people with them, that's 50 people. You know, and that's what we have to do. Each one teach one, each one bring one, you know. And so it really is interesting that all this is going on in the city, right?
You know, it's funny you say that, because one thing that Nancy often reminds me of, and it's a proud moment for myself and the election department, is when I was there under that time, we actually saw the highest number of registered voters in the city of Boston We also were able to introduce early voting to the
Yep.
city of
Vote by
Boston. I
mail.
worked on that campaign, so there's definitely been some strides, but there's definitely room for improvement to keep that momentum going.
Right. I think we have a caller. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Priscilla.
Good morning, Grace. How are you?
Good morning, Nancy Smith,
Good morning.
and the other staff member.
Good
Sorry,
morning. It's okay.
I didn't catch your name.
Chiron. Is it?
Chiron. Good
Yep,
morning.
Chiron Owens.
Okay.
I'm glad you're talking about this, and that Nancy's on here talking about the emergency preparedness that we desperately need in our community to grow the CERT. I am registered for the CERT training.
Yay!
Okay.
Yeah.
Bring your friends.
Yeah, encouraging other people to sign up. And I also wanted to let you know that I don't know what's going on, but AT&T is down.
AT&T.
AT&T.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
What do you mean they're down? Their whole network is out?
the whole network.
Thank God I don't have them. Really? See,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Too much control, too much control. We got to take back some stuff.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Right in line with this, what you're talking about. Yeah.
So everybody that has AT&T cannot communicate.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's deep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you
It's
for
got a
calling us and telling us that.
SOS. I'm going to check that Boston alert and see if it's on there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So boston.gov/emergency, and you'll be able to sign up for the emergency alerts from the city, and make sure you let your family and friends know about it as well, and encourage them to sign up so that they can be informed about any major emergency impacting the city.
Okay. Well, thank you so much.
Wait, before you go, I just want to make sure you go up onto the site to sign up for your in-person sessions, the ones that you want.
I will. I heard you say that because I knew it was coming up, but I didn't.
Yeah.
I haven't signed up for it, but I will.
Yeah, we had a blazing group of smart people that I work with. His name is Chiron. And they've been busy trying to get this website updated, and the good thing is that we sit right next to each other. So it's like having your brother next to you that just
Helping you work, right?
yeah, I've been so blessed and highly favored to have him
Yes.
be next to me. You don't even know.
It's a two-way street.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you, Grace.
See you in April.
Bye-bye. Thanks for calling. Yeah, so we have a couple of more minutes, but this has really been enlightening to me. Because I need to know some stuff too, so I better sign up too, right?
Please do.
Absolutely. We'll send you.
I'll
a
tell
link
y'all,
and
but
everything.
I do so much, but this is a lot. This is a lot. Just another thing added, but it'd be great though if we could really develop some type of partnership or something, some type of so that we can make sure that all our folks know this.
Yeah.
Don't y'all have a radio station?
We don't have a radio
yes, you do.
station, but
BNN.
Oh,
That's
okay.
why-
Well, we're actually gonna be on BNN
Yeah.
on the 26th, of this month. So
Okay.
you can
Whose
look
show
out
you
for us
gonna be
there.
on?
Oh man.
No.
We were working with Glenn.
Glenn.
Oh,
I
don't
can
even
tell
know
you
him.
that. I think.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's like
know
news
Ted.
opportunities and something else. But
I don't
I'll
know,
be sure
okay.
to send it to you, and then if you
Yeah.
don't mind just helping us promo that, we definitely appreciate it. But yeah, we're going on BNN.
And
We've reached out to WBUR. We've reached out to Java with Jimmy's.
Yes,
so.
you need to call him and tell him we need to get on. 'Cause I know you got direct lines to him.
Who, Java Jimmy?
Yeah.
No, I can't. He won't.
We ain't gonna get you started.
Yeah. That's another story for another day. Jimmy Java, if you listening, give us a call over here, okay? But but there's a lot. I see improvement. But then also I see other stuff too. And so it's the other stuff I got a problem with.
No,
but
for sure.
I really feel like you all doing this, you all leading this is really great because you did both from the community, and we really need community people to work in government, to work with us
No, for
and
sure.
to help us, because I feel like we're all fighting the same battle. We all want to live, we all want to work, we all want to take care of our kids, we
Yeah.
all want the same things,
Yes.
which is peace.
Exactly.
and love for one another. You know, so.
One thing I do want to make a plug for is in September, that's National Preparedness Month, nationally. And so for the past 2 or 3 years, we've been hosting a large-scale community event right at English High School called Ready Boston Field Day, where we basically bring in partners from all over. I mean, when you talk about the public safety partners, when you talk about any public-facing department from the city of Boston, we bring them out here and first off, we're there